Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Amazing Shinsengumi. We are on Okita Soji's route on Chapter 4, Can You Wipe My Body For Me? To which I will gladly acquiesce to that request when we come to it. Sounds like a sponge bath! Woohoo! He nursed me back to health, now I get to nurse him back to health. Alright, let's see what this chapter has in store for us. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Thankfully, Soji's burn wasn't terribly bad. Nevertheless, it was his dominant hand which was injured. I'm sure it was hindering. Soji didn't show any signs of being troubled. As his caretaker, I put a cold towel over his wound and wrapped a bandage over it. I did my best to help. Is he going to be grumpy about this? It was a hot day. Below the clear sky, the luscious greenery made shadows stretching across the earth. As I put the cold towel over his burn, I hoped that it would ease his pain and heal quickly. How did you get this burn? It's not like you, Soji. Without thinking, I blurted that out. I couldn't help but feel curious about it.
It wasn't anything in particular.
Soji looked away as he gave his clear-cut reply. Is it possible? Did you make a foolish mistake and now you're embarrassed to tell anyone? I tried imagining it, and I was on the brink of laughing. Oh, don't...
Unthinkable. Is that how you see me?
Soji scowled in reaction to my words.
It is true something else? I don't know what that means. It is true something else. Whatever that means. I also did something shameful that I couldn't tell other people about.
At the sight of Soji's smirk, I remembered what had happened. My face became hot. I tried to tease him, but he ended up turning the tables on me. Still, having his mind preoccupied on something else, I suddenly realized something and my chest became cold. Does he mean... Was it my fault? I asked timidly. For a second, Soji's face turned stiff. He then smiled.
Why would you think that?
Because... that time you took me to that dangerous place is punishment, right? I remember hearing... Did you get the injury because you pushed me away? At that place. He must have tried to protect me while I was blindfolded. If he hadn't, then there's no way he could have gotten injured.
The details don't matter. I was injured due to my lack of experience. And that's the truth.
Soji declared clearly.
That's why. You don't have to worry about it, Chizuru. You don't have to force yourself to stay.
Huh? I wondered what he was talking about. Without a clue, I tilted my head.
After that, I was hurt. That's why you're having a hard time leaving, isn't it? Otherwise, you wouldn't be here attending to my wound, right?
I never...
When my hand heals, I might do that to you again, you know. You aren't scared.
What, you mean you don't want to try it even while your hand is still wounded? His tone made it sound like he was testing me. In response to his words, I am... a little scared, which I'm kind of surprised. I feel like the walkthrough, I feel like they usually want me to just go along with everything. That's a little scary. He was a little rough with me, and I had no idea what he was thinking. I thought Soji was scary during that time. Still, as I patched up his wound, I couldn't imagine this hand could hurt me. I want you to get well soon. Even after your hand heals, I'll still be by your side. It's true I was worried, but not because I pitied his injury. I was just relieved that it helped the two of us to make up.
Well, I don't mind if you decided to stay. I'll make sure you do your best to be useful.
I was relieved hearing Soji's words. I'm so glad. I can still stay by his side. By the time I finished putting medicine on his wound, the water I'd bought had gotten warm. Well then, I'll clean up here. When I stood up holding the bucket...
Wait. Today is unbearably hot, so I want to wipe my body.
You want to use this water? It's a little warm.
I don't mind. However, with my hands like this...
What an excuse. Soji smiled as he waved his bandaged hand to show me. You could use your other hand.
Chizuru, can you wipe my body for me?
Huh? I almost spilled the bucket of water with my intense trembling.
You fixed me up so nicely. I couldn't afford to get my bandages wet.
Then you should have told me before I put the bandage on. I thought to myself, But then I remembered his painful-looking wound. I couldn't tell him to do it himself. Not to mention, Soji always acted like nothing is wrong in front of everyone else. There probably wasn't anyone else who would take care of Soji. It became difficult to refuse him. As I thought that, Soji took off his sleeve and outdid the top half of his kimono. His firm upper body was exposed. Ooh! Oh yeah, he's got much more meat on him than, Sanosuke did. Oh my god, he's so good looking. What should I do? I will avert my eyes in panic, although I really would not do that in real life. Ah, look at that.
What's wrong? Why did you suddenly turn away?
Why couldn't Sanosuke be this beefy? I heard a chuckle behind my back. Soji, is he doing this on purpose? What do you think?
You don't need to be so embarrassed. Stripping down like this is normal for us after training, or when it's hot.
That may be true, but...
Desperately looking away like that, it must mean... You're that interested in me, huh?
I couldn't deny it. To hide my flushed face, I covered it with my hands and hung my head low. I put the towel in the water and lightly wrung it out, then I started to wipe Soji's back. I tried my best not to stare, but I wasn't sure where to look anymore. Even my hands were shaking. It made my work more awkward. Oh, he is not making this easy on her.
You are really nervous, aren't you? Are you scared? Or are you hoping something will happen?
He grabbed my arm and pulled me towards him. My face was buried in Soji's chest. My cheek touched his moist skin. Next, my foot knocked over the bucket of water. The water spilled on the floor and wet my legs. Clumsy. What should I do? Oh, freak out and get away. Yep, that's what I gotta do. Freak out and get away. I quickly jumped back and freed myself from his arm. My face was hot. My heart was about to burst due to all the excitement.
Making a face like that.
Oh, he's too sexy for his kimono.
Are you inviting me to do something?
What are you saying? I let out a shout without thinking.
Running away with those eyes fixated on me. It makes me want to chase you. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
Soji extended his arm and hugged me one more time. Soji! As I tried to say something to escape, Soji licked my neck, and chills ran down my body. My body lost all its strength and I couldn't move. If this continues, am I... Just when I thought that, I could hear footsteps in the distance. Saved by the bell. Well, she saved by the bell. I would have liked to have seen more. Soji stood up and listened carefully to the hallway. This is a much juicier story than Sanosuke's. I was finally free. I sat on the bed and slowly moved away.
Are you here, Soji? I need to talk to you about something.
The door flung open in an almost rude manner. Then Toshizo peeked inside.
Oh, am I interrupting?
Yes! He could feel the awkwardness in the room, and I asked, slightly perplexed.
She spilled some water. I need something to wipe it up and a change of clothes. It'll be bad if she caught another cold.
Soji was taken aback, but he smiled as he spoke to Toshizo.
That can be done later.
But I'm gonna catch a cold if it's done later.
I have something to say to both of you. Chizuru as well.
Soji's face turned grim after hearing what Toshizo said.
Yes, is that all right?
As Toshizo asked that, I instinctively looked at Soji. Without a word, Soji looked back at me. As long as I only have to listen. The atmosphere was tense, and I answered timidly.
All right. Come with me, we'll talk after that.
Toshizo walked away gallantly.
It's impressive you got called out directly by the vice captain, huh, Chizuru?
Soji smiled as he followed behind Toshizo. His tone and his expression were the same as always. How do I put it? I was a little disappointed, yes, because we got interrupted. I'm a little disappointed. I don't mean that I wanted him to do something. It's because he acted so normally. Embarrassed at my own thoughts, I justify my thinking in a hurry. It's because he was so composed. It felt like he was experienced. It may have been normal for Soji to do that. Even if it wasn't with me, he'd be fine with it. I felt lonely with my thoughts.
Okay, For the time being, you can wipe yourself with this. Your foot is wet, right?
Who cares about my foot? As I was daydreaming, Soji handed me a towel. Thank you.
Oh?
Toshizo stared at me while I was showing my gratitude.
So you two have that kind of a relationship, huh? You're quite the smooth operator, Soji.
They really like to use that expression, smooth operator, in this game.
Thanks.
Soji laughed in response to Toshizo. I couldn't tell if he was being positive or if he was avoiding the question. I didn't understand his true intent.
However, if that's true, then what I have to say might be a bit difficult for you to hear.
Toshizo raised his eyebrows as he said that. My body froze from the tension in the air. I wanted to run away, but I knew I couldn't. Worried, I continued to follow Toshizo. How can you end it there? That's a horrible place to break. Then Chapter 5 will be Don't Overdo It. Hope to see you in my future videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.